Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer and demystify the everyday habits that are quietly darkening your lips. We all have these elaborate multi-step skincare routines beautifully mapped out for our faces, but honestly, more often than not, our lips get completely left out of the equation. So today, we're unpacking the science and the subtle, totally normal daily triggers that cause lip pigmentation. By using insights straight from dermatologists, we're going to learn exactly how to protect one of the absolute most delicate areas of our skin.
Take a quick second and ask yourself, have you noticed your lips looking maybe a bit duller or darker than they used to, even though you haven't changed your favorite lipstick or gloss? I can assure you, you are definitely not imagining it. If you spotted a grayish tint, a brownish shadow around the edges, or just some patchiness lately, we are going to investigate exactly why this happens, and most importantly, how to reverse it. It's actually one of the most common, yet somehow most overlooked, skincare concerns people bring up in the clinic.
But before we get into the specific everyday habits causing this, we really have to understand the dark lip mystery and why your lips are so vulnerable in the first place. Your lip skin is incredibly unique compared to the rest of your body. It is much thinner and vastly more delicate. It has fewer protective cellular layers and less melanin protection in certain areas. And this unique biology makes it a prime target for environmental damage and stress.
0. That is the exact number of oil glands in your lip skin. Think about that for a second. Because there's absolutely no natural oil to lubricate the surface, your lips dry out and show damage way faster than the rest of your face. They are basically defenseless against dehydration if you aren't actively protecting and nourishing them. Which brings us to a really crucial concept: post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Basically, when your naturally vulnerable lips face environmental stress, chronic dehydration, or thin skin irritation, they literally go into a state of panic. To defend themselves against this trauma, they produce extra melanin. And that extra protective melanin is exactly what shows up as those darker, patchier, or uneven tones. So it's fundamentally a defense mechanism, not a permanent stain.
So let's break down the 10 everyday habits darkening your lips. Now that we understand the biology, we can investigate the specific triggers that cause this stubborn pigmentation. We're going to look at 10 common habits that you might be doing right now without even realizing the compounding impact they have on your lip health.
We can essentially group these triggers into 3 main buckets: habitual triggers, environmental triggers, and product triggers. It's almost never just one isolated thing causing the darkening. Instead, it's this compounding combination of how we treat our lips, what elements they're exposed to, and what formulations we put on them. Let's break these down a bit more to see exactly what's happening.
What's really fascinating here is realizing that things we do purely for comfort can actually cause harm. Take licking your lips. It feels soothing when they're dry, right? But saliva actually evaporates incredibly quickly and pulls whatever natural moisture you have right out of the lips, leaving them drier and more prone to cracking than before. Then you have skipping SPF, which directly allows UV rays to trigger that melanin defense mechanism we talked about. Add in smoking, where nicotine physically restricts vital blood flow, or chronic dehydration mixed with way too much caffeine, and you've got a perfect storm for chronic flaking and long-term darkening.
Moving on to the physical and product triggers. Habitual biting, picking, and rubbing cause constant micro-trauma and friction. Just like how repeated friction darkens the skin on your elbows or knees, it prompts your lip skin to overproduce melanin as a shield. Meanwhile, skipping exfoliation just lets dull, dead skin build up over time. And here's a surprising one: using really strong toothpastes, expired lipsticks, or ignoring minor allergies actually creates a low-grade inflammation. Dermatologists even have a name for the reaction to old, heavy cosmetics. They call it lipstick dermatitis, and it frequently leaves dark patches behind.
Okay, let's shift gears and look at what the dermatologists say about all this.
Treating lip care with the exact same seriousness as facial skin care is the paradigm shift we really need to make here. Dr. Sharad clearly emphasizes the foundational rule: prevention absolutely must start with identifying your specific trigger. Before you go out and buy any new products, balms, or scrubs, you have to know what's causing the issue in your specific lifestyle. Is it the sun? Is it stress-induced lip licking? Once you nail down the trigger, protecting the lips from UV exposure and maintaining proper hydration becomes incredibly effective.
But identifying that trigger can be super confusing. Take a patient named Mira, who said, "My lips have gotten much darker over the last year. I don't smoke, so I don't understand why." So many people find themselves echoing Mira's exact frustration, mistakenly believing that if they don't smoke, their lips absolutely shouldn't be darkening. People also tend to think dark lips are purely genetic or a sign of poor hygiene. While genetics definitely dictate your baseline color, most day-to-day darkening is driven by the external habits we just covered, completely independent of smoking.
As Dr. Kapoor explains in response to patients like Mira, it is rarely just one singular cause. It's almost always a compounding combination. It's the fact that you might be missing your lip SPF every single day, combined with stress-induced habits like licking or biting your lips when you're anxious at work. That combination of unprotected sun exposure and friction alone explains a huge percentage of non-smoking-related lip pigmentation.
So let's dive into some expert solutions and key ingredients for targeted lip care.
Now that we know the triggers, we can focus on the cure, starting with choosing the right formulations. We need targeted, gentle, nourishing solutions. We want to actively avoid harsh whitening treatments, because honestly, those can sometimes worsen the very irritation and pigmentation we're trying to heal. Think of this as your mental checklist for your next shopping trip. On the helpful side, you want healers. Vitamin C for evening out tone, vitamin E for repairing that super thin barrier, deep hydrators like shea and cocoa butter that won't clog pores, and niacinamide to calm inflammation. Pitted against those are the harsh additives you really must avoid. Synthetic fragrances and dyes, high-concentration menthol or camphor that just dry you out further, and alcohol-based lip stains that totally strip away your natural moisture.
All right, let's talk about reversing the damage and building your new lip care routine. Increasingly, people are turning to natural cosmetic lines like timb, which was highlighted in our source material, because they inherently skip those harsh chemical additives we just talked about. Let's look at the actual daily routine you need to adopt.
Building an effective lip care routine is surprisingly straightforward. It's just as simple as caring for your face. Step 1. Gently cleanse. Step 2. Exfoliate mildly, just 1 to 2 times a week with a soft, damp cloth or a gentle sugar scrub. Actually, a quick warning, never do this daily or you'll just irritate them more. Step 3. Deeply moisturize at night when your skin repairs itself most actively. Massaging a pure drop of vitamin E oil works absolute wonders here. And finally, Step 4. Always apply an SPF 30 or higher lip balm every single morning. And remember to keep sipping water consistently throughout the day to fight off dehydration from the inside out.
Now for the most important part of the routine, managing your expectations. You really have to be patient with this. Skin cell turnover on the lips follows a similar cycle to the rest of your face. In week 1, you drop the harsh habits. But it takes about 6 to 8 weeks of this consistent daily care to show a truly noticeable improvement in pigmentation. You can't just combine a bunch of active acids to speed it up either. That will literally just undo all your progress. Your lips didn't darken overnight, and they won't lighten overnight either. We've seen how everyday things like skipping sunscreen, rubbing, or using expired cosmetics can trigger that protective melanin response, and we've mapped out exactly how to gently undo it. Since we know this daily damage is completely reversible with the right routine and a little bit of patience, I want to leave you with one final thought. Which small habit will you change today to save your lips tomorrow? Because the power to restore your natural tone is quite literally in your hands. Thanks so much for exploring this with me on The Explainer, and I'll catch you next time.